Hi everyone, today we're going to be looking at the C-More EA9 HMI series panel object list bitmaps. Now the C-More HMI panel software uses virtual components called objects. These objects are programmable to simulate the functions that you require on your automation project. Things like push buttons, switches, meters, and graphs are just a few of the objects that are available to you. Now a bitmap is a image file format used to store digital images or pictures. And the extension that we use for the bitmap file is .bmp. Now we'll look at the object list bitmaps that we use for our HMI panel. The bitmap objects that are available to you on the C-More EA9 are Bitmap Button, Static Bitmap, Dynamic Bitmap, Multi-State Bitmap, and Animation Bitmap. And you'll see them listed right here on our C-More software. So, detailed information contained in this video can be found at accautomation.ca. A link has been put in the description below. Now this includes a download for the PLC program and the HMI program. And if you have not watched the other videos yet, there will be links in the description below that will start you at video 1. There will also be links to the rest of the videos in this series as well. So up here on my screen, we're going to pick up where we left off last time with the meters and graphs. And we're going to add a new page. So let's just add a new page up here, and it's page 9, and we'll call this bitmaps. Okay. And then we'll hit OK, and you'll now see our bitmaps are on here. We're going to set our common screen or our screen background. We'll turn this on for editing, and then we'll use the enable, and we will look at our common screen background, which gives us our menus back here. And then we can turn that back off. Now if we go back up to page 100, where we have our common screen menu, we'll select our screen, and we will actually go to our screen and select our page 9 bitmaps, and we'll add that to our list that we can actually select from. Hit OK, and then we can go back down to our page 9, and we're ready to put our bitmaps onto this screen. So the first one is our bitmap button. And what we'll do is we will take our sample number 2 and we will place that up onto our screen here. And it looks very much similar to what we did before with a lot of our objects that we programmed. Under the simulate, we can turn this on and off. This is what it's going to look like. And then we have our frame type, our language, our description that we can tell what this bitmap button is all about. Then under the General tab, we have our off-state bitmap and our on-state. Now these are predetermined graphics that already come with this button. So we're going to leave all that the same. And then our button tag and our indicating tag. And what we'll do is we will change those. And this is similar to our button itself that we programmed previously. So if we look at bitmap button, let's hit OK. So that is our button tag, our indication tag. We'll use as the same as well. There we go. And then we'll make this a toggle. That means we hit it once, it turns on, hit it again, it goes off. So it's a toggle or a flip-flop, whatever name you'd like to call it. Alright, so we're done with this page. Then we can go to the options. And again, we can set the visibility, we can set our sound, and we can use a press delay. This will eliminate some of those false triggers that we get. Then our password, we can enter a password if we want, and then we'll just hit OK. And now we can size this onto the screen. And what we'll do is just make that a little bigger so we can actually see what's going on. And that looks pretty good there. Our next one is our static bitmap, and static bitmap will just allow us to put a picture onto our screen so we can view. So let's just again take the static bitmap and drag that onto our screen, and now it's going to ask us for an image. So we can read from the disk, a symbol, clipboard, or we just clear that image. So we're going to read from the disk, and I'm going to call up our ACC do symbol. And we're going to hit open, and that's what it's going to look like on the screen. And we can set our stretch and our lock ratios just like we did before. We hit OK, and now we can size that up onto our screen. There we go, that looks pretty good. Now our dynamic bitmap, we'll drag it onto the screen now and program it. And again, similar to the other one, we have an off bitmap and an on bitmap. This time, let's look at symbol. And what we'll do is it calls up our symbol factory 3D red buttons. So we have air conditioner. You see there's a lot of different options that we can have for this symbol factory. Blowers, boilers, lots of different features that we can have. So let's go back to our 3D push buttons just to give you an idea. And we'll use this 3D button not pressed or off. And we'll hit OK. And then our on, again, we'll go to symbol. We'll hit that pressed. We'll hit OK. And now we have our off and then our on. And our tag name, we have this all pre-programmed here. We'll call it dynamic bitmap. So we do things like boxes open, close, conveyors on, off. Anything that you can think of that will indicate either movement or something pressed or something done in the PLC. And all of these symbols are used to actually represent things that can happen within the controller, and it makes your screen a little more intuitive. So under the option, we actually have our visibility. So we won't use visibility in our program here. We'll hit OK. And again, we can resize this. So that looks pretty good there. Next we have our multi-state bitmap, and we'll drag that onto our screen. And what you'll notice is that we will have our general here, and display images are based on bit number or image number. We're going to change that to image number. And non-programmable bitmap action will display as an error. So the tag database, let's select it, and we are going to go MHR 600, and it's going to be an unsigned integer 16-bit. We'll hit OK. And now for our image, we're going to add our images to this to represent what number that we display into our register will show what image. So let's add new. And again, we go back to our default user graphics that we have here, and we'll go down to this smiley, and we'll use this as object 0. Then we're going to add another one, and we'll again go down to smiley, and we're going to add the next one, and we're going to add again another couple. And this way, as that number changes, our corresponding information or image that we display will actually change, and it will give the illusion of some animation. Okay, so we have 5 pictures, 0 to 4. So it looks good. Everything's set here as a default, which is good. Then if we want, we can actually look at the multi-state bitmap preview, and we could actually simulate this. We could actually go, there's 0, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5, if it's not programmed, it'll actually give us the error message. So go 0, 2, 3. Right. So once we hit OK, actually let's go back, and there's our images. Now under options, we actually have again the visibility. We can turn this on and off onto our screen so that whether it's visible or non-visible. Hit OK, and now we can size our multi-state bitmap. So let's just put it around about there. And that looks good. Now the last one we have is our animation bitmap. And we'll grab sample number 1 and put it onto the screen. And what we'll do is under the options, this is the preview. So that looks good. We're going to leave everything the same. Under the option, we have visibility. And now for our animation, we have our move. So in this case here, we have points or ratios. We're going to use a tag name for our move. We'll hit OK. And our PLC value is going to go from 0 to 4095. You can see before what they used was actually the minute or the second. So after 60 seconds, and you see how it'll move around. In our case here, we're going to go from 0 to 4095, which then will represent the ratio 0 to 100%. So if we look at the moving line setup, we'll click it now. And here's what it looks like currently. We can actually hit delete, and we'll delete some of these points and make up our own. So once again, as we go from 0 to 100%, it will actually move the object where we want to. So currently right now, that's where the object is. We're going to hit the add now. So we'll go up to this button. We'll go down to that one. We'll go down to this one. We'll go back up to the middle. We'll go over here, over there. So we can just draw whatever we want, put the points in that we want to display. And this is how the movement's going to go. Just like that. So once we're happy with where those movements are, what we can do, let me just bring that down a little bit. We can just hit OK. And that's all of our movements that are now set. So then we're going to go size, and under our size, we're going to use sizing and our X and Y. And what we'll do is we'll use internal register again. We'll hit OK, size, and we're going to use X and Y as the same tag name. And our value will go from 0 to 4095. 0 to 4095. And that represents 0 to 300 pixels in our size. So that's all set, and it's based on our center position. Then we'll do rotation, and we'll say use rotation. And what we'll do is we will select another rotation register. We'll hit OK. And again, the PLC value is 0 to 4095 will represent 0 to 359 degrees. So this will do the rotation for us. We'll hit OK. And now we can size our smiley guy just like that. So looks like we're all set now. And what we can do is we can actually simulate this. So we'll hit simulate. Well, first of all, we'll hit save. So we'll save our program, simulate. And we have an EA9 T10CL. We'll hit start. And there we go. There's our screen that we currently have. Let's just change the border so it looks more like our screen itself. Then we'll hit the select screen. We'll hit the bitmaps, and there's our bitmaps there. So what we can do is we can try our push button. That seems to work fine. You can see it going on and off on our screen. Our dynamic, we can turn that on and off. So you see that works fine. Our static is right here. Then our multi-state push button here. If we look at this one here, that's 0. There's 1, 2, 3, 3, and then 4. So that seems to be working fine. And we'll go back to 0. If we did put in a wrong value, like 5, it'll just say, it'll give us a warning message. So we'll go back to 0. And then finally we have our move. And let's go to, say 2000. And when we do that, it moves to where the 2000 variable is. Our size, let's try it, 2000. See if it does actually grow, which it does. And then we have a rotation. Let's try that at about 2000 and we should be upside down. And that's exactly what happens. So everything seems to work in our simulation. So now what we can do is we can actually close this down. We'll exit. And we will actually transfer this or send this to our EA9 T10CL unit that we have here. So let's hit send. And we will use our Ethernet transfer. Transfer that down. This just takes a minute to transfer. There we go. Then we hit OK. We'll close that down. Now our program is into our unit here. And we'll hit the select screen. And there's our bitmaps. We will look at our bitmaps now. Now in order to control this, we have our Do-More Designer with our simulator running. So let's call that up. And here we have our dynamic bitmap. So as I hit my push button, you can see that it will actually turn on the corresponding output. In this case here we have Y9 or Y8, sorry. And then we have our dynamic, which we hit X9, and that will turn on that output, and also turn on our MI61, which is our output that will turn on our graphic on our screen. Then we have our multi-state, and X10 will turn on a 1-second timer, which will count from 0 up to 5 and then reset. So we go from 0 to 4, which gives us our 5 symbols that we actually oscillate or go through. And then what we do is we have our animation that we use WX0 for the movement, then WX1 as the size, and then we have WX2 as the rotation. So let's call up our actual simulator here. And we showed how this symbol here will turn on Y8, which it does. Then we have our dynamic. So if we go X9, you can see how it turns on and off. Then we have our multi-state. And you can see as I turn it on, every second the image now changes, and we can see that animation or that those images scrolling through based on what we have in our PLC. So that seems to work fine. Then what we have is our movement on our animation. So WX0 will control, as I increase it, the movement of our graphic as it goes around our screen. Same way as when I programmed it. There we go. And we go back again, back to the original. Then we have our size. We can make it grow or reduce in size. So we can emphasize things on the screen using these simple graphics that we have. Then we have a rotation that we can do for our graphic. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button below. If you have any questions about the video, please leave a comment below and I'll do my best to answer it. If you want more information about us, or you want to get our 2 free ebooks on numbering systems or robust data logging, please click on the link in the description below to get it. A new video is put out every Monday, so make sure you hit the subscribe button so you get more videos like this in the future. Remember to click the bell beside your subscription to actually receive those notifications. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.